He's got the toys. He's got showmanship. And he's got sex appeal. Ladies and gentlemen, from the great Southwest, here's the guru of gadgets, the dapper and dashing Don Bain, the Gadget Professor. Gadget Professor.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Don Bain, and of course, I am the Gadget Professor. We're coming at you live in 172 1/3% in living color from our Prescott, Arizona studio. Welcome, everyone. We are on show 795. 795. Remember, you can email me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at thegadgetprofessor@gmail.com. That's thegadgetprofessor@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you. And of course, follow me on Instagram. Very simple, at the Gadget Professor. All right, interesting show for you today. We are going to go back and check out some video from our GoPro Mission 1, and brand new camera. This is what GoPro has put all their hopes on because they are borderline bankrupt. So this has to catch on or they're going to get bye-bye or someone's going to buy them out, one or the other. They've actually lagged behind in technology for quite a few years. However, this brand new Mission Pro series, there's 3 of these, fantastic. So this has been out maybe 2 weeks, if that, and we talked a little bit about it last week, and I said I was going to do some footage, and that's exactly what we did. So before we get into today's show, I have a favor to ask. And if you've been watching over 1,000 episodes of the Gadget Professor Show, you know that I never ask for a favor, but today I'm going to. I'm in the process of reconfiguring my YouTube channel, and I have 4 or 5 different channels up. I've been doing this for almost 20 years, so there's a lot of video out there, and over the years I've started different channels. Bottom line is I'm condensing them, compacting them into one channel. So I'm going to lose some subscribers because I'm doing away with the channel. So if you could do me a big favor, please subscribe to the channel. The address is right here. And just dial in that URL and just hit the subscribe button. I would be very grateful. And from now on, that will be the address of my new, it's actually new, my revised singular YouTube channel. I would really appreciate that. Thank you. All right, let's get into it today. I decided instead of taking, quote, regular video and walking around and showing clouds and bushes and downtown areas, I thought I would go to one of the more difficult things to do with any action camera, and that's actually star trails. Star trails can drive you out of your skull, I'm telling you. I have tried this on every camera that I have, action camera, and I have quite a few of them over the years. And that's the test for me. It tests your knowledge of how to use the camera. It tests your patience, and it's a good exercise. And I like star trails. They're very nice. So what I did is I shot some star trails, and we'll take a look at them. And what I'm going to do is show you, how I did that. I'm going to show you my settings. And then 2, we're going to talk about how you mount the camera to shoot star trails, and I'll also give you some tips on that. So let's begin. Let's take a look at some star trails. I shot those trails in Prescott, Arizona. I happen to be up on top of a mountain. I get a beautiful panorama view of the entire city, if you will. Or is it a town? City? I don't know what it is. Town, city. I think it's a city. Anyway, it has to be dark. I am in Prescott, Arizona. That's where I shot these trails from. I am very high up on a mountain. I have the beautiful view of the entire city. It's really something. I'm very fortunate to have that. I can see pretty much almost 300 degrees from any side of the house. In any event, I point the camera either north or south, and that's what you need to do. You want to look for Polaris. If you can't find that, go on to one of the apps on your phone, download a stargazing app, and it will show you where south and north is. I actually chose south because that's where my front porch is, and it's pretty dark. Now, the thing is, you can shoot star trails anywhere, but you're going to get the best renditions if you point north or south. Now, that said, if you have light leaking in from the porch lights, from your neighbor's lights, playing field, wherever the lights may come from, it's called light pollution, and that will definitely affect the results that you get or the results that you don't get, literally from where you set the camera. It's important to keep it as dark as humanly possible. Now, one of the things that I will also tell you is the tripod has to be mounted on a very, very, very solid mount. I have used tripods in the past, heavy-duty ones, and I've had absolutely no problem whatsoever. What I chose at the end of the day, and I always go to this is what I use. This is a selfie stick, and it's a tripod, and it's made by a company called PGY Tech. I used to call it Piggy Tech, but it's pgytech.com. This is a battle axe, and I like this for a couple reasons. One reason is, as I said, it's really built. The construction of this is impeccable, and it also makes a good self-protection defense device. If someone's coming near you and you need a bopper, bam, you bop them over the head with this, I guarantee you they will stop. You got to run like hell when you do it, but this is really solidly built. Secondly, this has a rotating top, and there's a giant button here, and that's what I like about this. It's so well made. Heavy-duty spring. When I indent that, the top where I have the mount for the camera, any camera, it will articulate pretty much 90 degrees in any direction. This is real helpful. The other thing that's helpful is I have a ball joint attachment on here, all right? And that allows me to rotate this top anywhere I want. So between the articulation of the tripod itself and the ability to rotate this on the little gyro mount that I have here, I'm going to be able to set this camera exactly in the direction that I want, and then I lock it down, and it's not going to move. Now, the beauty of this is there's a button here on the side, and if you push that in, that will allow you to essentially, where are we here? Yeah, that will allow you to essentially unlock the tripod. So there you go, and you can get all kinds of positioning on that. What I actually choose when I do star trails is I open this. Again, you got to push the button to articulate this. Here we go. So what I do is I open this all the way, and I actually like this. So what I do is I open the front two legs and I articulate this all the way out, and that's how I put it. So it gives you very little surface room right here, and it's not going to wobble, wiggle, or waggle. And that's how I do it. On occasion, I'll use this format, but again, I have the height there, and the higher it is, the more prone it is to wiggling. If you jiggle or wiggle the tripod by wind, a doggy, whatever the case may be, you're going to mess up the star trails. The camera has to be absolutely, positively stationary. And one last thing that I will say about this, and I can't speak enough about it, is it has a wonderful shoe mount here. And you can put an extra light, or you don't want that for nighttime photography, but you can put a light if you're doing, selfie stuff, or recording an interview, or a microphone, or whatever you want that fits into that particular slot. So very nice, and most importantly, it's got this, so as you're walking around, you're not going to lose it. I will not use a selfie stick without one of these. No way, no how. I have lost 2 cameras because of that. My fault, my bad. All right, let's get into some settings now. And these are the actual settings, and there's going to be 2 sets of settings that I'm going to show you. One is going to be basically an overview. Here we go. These are good settings to start off with. So you're at the base mode. You're going to shoot a star trail. You don't know what to do, what the exposure should be. Every action camera is different. Right now, I'm going to be working, obviously, with the GoPro Mission 1. And all the GoPros are so similar, all the ones before this, probably starting with 10. So the GoPro 10, 11, 12, and 13 and the Mission will have a very, very similar menu. The processors may be different, the lenses may be different, the sensors may be different, but this is a good starting point for whatever action camera you're using, including your DSLR. These are all the basic settings that you'll need to get started. Obviously, I shouldn't say obviously, but don't be surprised if it doesn't come out. You'll have to fine tune it, and that's part of the process. That's part of the learning process. Once you get it, you got it. Use these for the basic settings. Now again, if I'm in Prescott, Arizona, and I'm shooting star trails at a certain setting, it probably will not be the same if I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona, or Sedona, or wherever I am, Scranton, Pennsylvania. All different settings based on your environment, how much light is coming through from the front, from the back. Again, keep it dark. All right, here we go. The first thing you're going to do with this particular GoPro, and any GoPro, is go into time-lapse. If you don't have a time-lapse feature, then you're going to have to do all this manually, and I'll show you that in a second. GoPro makes it pretty easy. Go into time-lapse, and when you click the button on time-lapse, the next menu you will see, you'll have 3 other choices. Pick the one that says Star Trails. Simple enough. Next thing you're going to do is figure out the length of the actual trail. Do you want long trails, or do you want short trails, or medium trails? You have a selection many times. Many times you don't. It doesn't matter. This GoPro allows you to select what trails you want. I like the long ones. I think they look better. The next thing you're going to want to do is make sure that your resolution is as high as the camera will allow you. Now, I know this camera shoots 8K. I didn't have the ability. It won't let me shoot 8K. Okay, but it will let me shoot 4K. Ideally, I'd like 5K for star trails, but 4K, as you can see, works great. So I picked 4K. If you only go up to a 2K or 1080p, whatever you have, whatever your highest resolution is, select that. Another thing you want to do, at least on the GoPro series, is you can select the angle, how wide your view is. Select wide. You don't want a little square. You don't want linear. You want as wide a view as possible. Why? So you can see the whole sky. You can get beautiful star trails. So select wide. Next thing you want to do is figure out the duration. This is probably one of the most important settings that you're going to come up against. The duration, it's pretty simple to set that. You don't want the camera to shut off ever when you're shooting star trails, all right? The duration should be set to no limits or infinity, which means it's not going to shut off until you give it the command to shut off, either with your remote control, or I could use speech and just say GoPro shut down or stop recording, whatever your command is. And you have to do that. I'll tell you why in a second. Now, when it comes to duration, I'm going to give you a tip. And this is across the board. I don't care what action camera you're using. Remove the battery. Remove the battery. And I'll tell you why. If you power your camera with the battery, it's going to die out way before you get star trails. And you're going to go in the next morning. I leave mine on overnight. I start at like 7, 8 o'clock at night, and I'll turn it off at probably 7, 8 in the morning. But if you try that with the battery, I don't care what kind of battery you have, it's going to die, and you'll be very disappointed. Take the battery out. All right, how do I power the camera? It's very simple. I'm sure, have one of these power supplies. I know you do. It's got to be at least 1 amp, 5 volts. They're all 5 volts at least 1 amp. This one happens to be 3 amps, and my choice is always at least 2 amps to power a camera. And I plug this into the wall, into the AC outlet. I take a long cord, USB-C or A, whatever, and I lead it directly into the camera. The battery is out. I then turn the camera on, and if it turns on, clearly it's getting electricity, it's getting power. If it doesn't turn on, then something's wrong. Maybe your camera won't work without the battery. I don't know any of them that will, but all of them I know will, most of them I should say, will work by putting in external power. So now you have external power. The camera will never shut down because of power. And the reason I take the battery out is I don't want to take any chances that I inadvertently don't click the right power connection on this. Take the battery out. All right. Your duration again is on infinity. We talked about the mounts. It has to be absolutely still. Those are the basics. Now, let's take a look at the heavy-duty, nitty-gritty stuff. What are my exposures? Let's take a look at that. Here are your Pro Tune style tweaks, what I call them. If you don't have a time-lapse mode, you can still do it. And even if you do have a time-lapse mode, you want to double-check that these settings are close to what your camera's telling you. First thing that you want to do, shutter speed. Important, important, important. Every 30 seconds, 1 exposure. So you're going to get 2 exposures in 1 minute, 30 seconds apart. All right. And that's because 30 seconds is going to give it a long time for the light to get into the camera, and it's going to click one rotation, if you will, or movement of the star. The next 30 seconds, it's going to go that way, and that way, and so on and so forth. If you watch the star trails, you'll see that they start off very small. But as soon as you get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 exposures, you'll see the trails actually stretching out. You're essentially doing a time lapse. And if you remember, I said, don't turn the camera off, okay? Don't unplug the power. You have to turn the camera off. You have to manually either click it to turn it off, which I hate. I would use the remote control. GoPro and most of the action cameras today have voice commands. So I simply go up to the camera in the morning and say, GoPro, stop recording. If you don't do that, if you just pull out the power cord, you're going to lose everything, all right? When you shut the camera down in the proper way, either via the remote, first choice, second choice, which I like better, use the voice command. Third choice is be very slow and methodical, turn the camera off physically. That allows the camera to finish properly all the 30-second exposures, and it will automatically stitch them together. Henceforth, you get that animation. You don't have to do anything else. When you go to look at that file, it will be an MP4 video. You click on it, and boom, there's your star trails. All right, 30 seconds for exposure. If you want shorter or longer trails, increase or decrease the exposure time. And remember, in the beginning, we talked about long trails or short trails. That's how you manipulate it. It's up to you. What do you like? Another critical setting is going to be your ISO. I recommend anywhere as a starting point between 800 and 1600. All right, that's where I think is the sweet spot. Because it's very dark where I am photographing the star trails, I use 800. If you use a higher ISO, the higher the ISO, the more noise you're going to get, the more light sensitive the camera is, and it's just not as clean, if you will, as a lower ISO setting. So I use ISO 800. Sometimes I got to use 1,000. Sometimes I got to use 1,200. If you put it up beyond 1,200, it's just not going to look right. So somewhere that sweet spot is between 800 and 1,600. Start out at the lowest setting, 800 for your ISO. The next thing is white balance. This is your preference. The white balance should be fixed, not on auto. Do not use the auto setting on star trails. You want to put it on fixed. What do you set the white balance to? I recommend anywhere between 4,500 degrees Kelvin and 4,800. So I can even go 4,400. So somewhere between 40, let's say 4,200. Let's make it easy. Between 4,200 and 4,800. My preference, 4,500. I always set the temperature control, the lighting temperature, to 4,500 degrees Kelvin. That's going to give you the color rendition. Some people like it a lot more blue for the star trail. Some people like it red. Some people like it white. Me, I like the kind of bluish, light bluish, and that's 4,500 Kelvin. All right, the next thing you want to do, if you can, is you want to adjust the sharpness. Make it as low as you can go, or medium, all right? Don't make it sharp, and don't put it to the highest setting. Keep it medium or low. Otherwise, they're going to look fat and ugly, the trails, and you don't want that. So be very careful with the sharpening. As I said, medium, preferably low for sharpness. Last thing is your color. Don't be a photo hero. Don't go in for HDR or modify. Just keep it natural. Keep the setting for your color natural, and you will not have any problems. That's basically it. So I'll give you a quick rundown. You got to shoot where it's real dark, if possible. You want to use a very, very sturdy mount, all right? Your choice. Next of all, the shutter speed is going to need to be at 30 seconds. If you have a time-lapse mode, that's where you're probably going to make that adjustment. If not, put your camera on 30 seconds for exposure. 800 if you can for the ISO. White balance, 4,500. Sharpness, again, you may not be able to adjust that, but keep it low or medium. And last of all, keep your color at natural. When you get your results, you can fine-tune it. And these are starting points, but this is going to get you very, very, very close. So that's going to wrap it and pack it today. I apologize for those people who don't like star trails or don't have a camera or don't want to do it, but I'll make up for it next week with an interesting show that will be good for all my viewers. Thank you so much. And please, again, don't forget to sign up and subscribe to my new YouTube channel. Right there below is the URL. Thank you so much. I'll see everybody next week.
The Gadget Professor is produced by Don Bain.
Multimedia Communications, LLC.
If you would like your product reviewed on The Gadget Professor or would like to appear on The Gadget Professor, contact us via email at thegadgetprofessor@gmail.com. The opinions expressed on the program by the host, guests, call-in listeners, or chatters are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. And thank you for watching The Gadget Professor.